Hello again, viewers, and greetings, fellow space travelers. This is thornofnight, and welcome to episode 41 of my Terraria Let's Play series, where I am trying to cover everything I can get my hands on and am aware of in all of the entirety of Terraria. And there are several things that I probably don't even know about yet, but I'm going to continue trying to cover something or several new things each episode until I run out of new things. And then after that, I'm going to start having a building frenzy. I've already got showcases and things like that built here, but I'm talking about real building, like artsy-fartsy stuff. But for right now, I'm still going over the stuff that I am encountering during the course of the game. And today I'm going to be covering flasks and the potions that are not buff potions, the restorative potions like healing and mana and regeneration, things like that, because it could be good and useful to know how to make these things, and a lot of people may not actually pursue using potions, and they're really easy to make. All you need is glass bottles and some ingredients that for the most part you can find all over the place, and glass bottles are an infinite supply once you get a sand gun and some ammo cost reduction stuff, so you can start just shooting sand and getting more back than you fire. So potions are worth your time. But today, like I said, I'm going to be covering flasks. So I'm going to assemble some ingredients real quick, and I'm going to get started on the 8 flasks that there are. I'll be right back. Alright, the first thing that you're going to want to get in order to start making flasks is this thing called the Imbuing Station. And the Imbuing Station is purchased from Mr. Voodoo here. Let's see here, the cost of it is, it's this guy here, 7 gold. So you'll first have to get that guy and also get some gold. But once you get that, you can purchase this thing here, and that's what it looks like placed in the world. Imbuing Station there. And this is where you make all 8 of the flasks. Currently there are 8. And all of them are going to require a bottle of water. And real quick, what you need in order to make that is just a bottle and stand near some source of water and open up your crafting inventory, and there you go, bottle of water. But the first one I'm going to cover is the, let's see here, is it in order? Yes, the Flask of Poison. Now, all of these flasks last 15 minutes, and what they do is when you drink them, they add a bonus to any melee weapon you're using. Whether you switch weapons or not, doesn't matter. Anything that counts as melee damage gets the buff from whatever flask it is that you have consumed. Now, if you try to consume multiple flasks back to back, whichever one is the most recent is the one that is active. Everything you consume before that, whether the 15 minutes are up or not, will just go poof. It's the most recent one that you consume, that's what does it. But this first one here is called the Flask of Poison, and what it does is when you drink it, it adds the poisoned debuff. Now the poison debuff slows regeneration and causes gradual damage over time to your enemies. I don't know if it's the same amount of damage as it is for the player, so I don't really have any metric for that, so I apologize for not having that information, but it does do damage to them, except in the instance of maybe some of the boss mobs. But the way it is crafted is a bottle of water and 5 stingers, which you get down in the underground jungle. And that will get you 1 flask of poison. Next up, we have something called the Flask of Fire. Once again, 15 minutes, and what happens with this is, as you would expect, it sets your enemies on fire and they take fire damage. Now, this one requires 1 bottle of water and a set of 5 hellstone. So you're going to have gone to the underground, get some hellstone, and use that, and you get a Flask of Fire. Next, we have the Flask of Venom, and this also is a sort of poison damage thing, but the ingredient that you need in order to make this is the Vial of Venom. And the Vial of Venom is purchased from this guy here, Mr. Voodoo again. You have to have obviously gotten it to hard mode, and I believe you have to have defeated Plantera in order to be able to buy this from him. But here it is, the Vial of Venom. It's relatively cheap, 10 silver, and it has a few different uses. But let's get back down here and craft this. I should mention that the Vial of Venom, or the Flask of Venom, it completely negates the regeneration and does more poison damage than just the poison flask. But that is the Vial of Venom. Alright, next up we have the Flask of Gold. And what the Flask of Gold does is it will increase the coin drop rate of enemies that you kill. Also, it can work in PvP, so if you kill other players, it will increase the amount of coins you get from killing them. But in order to craft this, you're going to need 5 gold dust. Now the gold dust is purchased from, where'd he go? This guy here. And it is right there, 17 silver, and it's relatively cheap. I believe it's also used in making bullets, which I still have to go over guns and bullets and things for the most part, but that is the Flask of Gold. Go ahead and make that here. Okay, next up we have the Flask of Ichor. Now the Ichor is gotten in Underground Crimson from, I think it's called the Ichor Sticker, something like that. And maybe it's pronounced Ichor. I may be mispronouncing that. If I am, I apologize. But basically, you have to get 5 of these from these floating, what look like gigantic viruses, which is basically what they are. And what will happen is it lowers the defense of your target by 20. And also, they turn sort of goldish and have the Ichor shower attack on them when you're using it as a melee thing. So you need 5 Ichor, and that will get you a Flask of Ichor. Next up we have the Flask of Cursed Flames, and it requires 5 Cursed Flames, which you have to get from a corruption world from a few enemies there after hard mode. And it is similar to the fire debuff, but it can't be doused by water, and also it prevents health regeneration. Anything that walks into water, any PvP player that tries to, say, dump water on their head, it won't put this out, and it will last for the full duration, which I think is something like 4 life per second for a player. Like I said, I don't know if it's the same for enemies, but it's about, I think it for sure is the 4 health loss per second. But that is the Cursed Flame. Next, we have the Flask of Nanites. And what it does is it causes the Confused debuff, which causes enemies to walk away from you, and it causes the, like for instance, if you hit a ranged enemy, it causes them to not attack you with their ranged attack, which is awesome if you have, say, for instance, a boomerang. You can smack them from a distance, and then they won't be able to shoot at you. So that's awesome there. Now, it also affects players in PvP, and all that does is the left and right buttons are switched for the functionality, and I think maybe a couple other things changed there. But in order to craft it, you need 5 nanites, and the nanites are gotten from, let's get up there, the cyborg, and there they are. Nanites, 10 silver a piece, so that's also relatively cheap. Let's get back down here and craft, oops, the Flask of Nanites, and then finally we have the Flask of Party. Now the Flask of Party, it doesn't really cause a debuff per se, but what it does do is cause your melee attacks to just cause confetti to appear. And you need 5 confetti in order to craft this. All of these take 1 bottle of water and 5 of whatever material it is. And you get the confetti from the party girl. And let's see here. There it is. 1 silver a piece. Really cheap, and it's more for entertainment value. Let's go ahead and get back down there and craft this. And done with the flasks. Alright, now I want to start covering the recovery potions, and those are for health and mana replenishment. First off, there are ways to do this in the world itself without having to actually make anything. You can, for instance, just eat some mushrooms to restore 15 life. Now, at the point where you have 500 life, 15 isn't really all that much difference, but it does help a little bit. Also, it should be noted that a bottle of water will restore 20 life, and that is one that you can craft, so that will count as part of the different options you have. Anyway, next up we have what's called the Lesser Healing Potion, and in order to make this, you're going to need a mushroom, 2 gel, and 2 bottles, and it will get you 2 Lesser Healing Potions here. And they restore 50 health. Now, it is important to note, when you use one of these potions, it causes, I believe, what's called potion sickness, where you can't consume another of the potions for some amount of time. I forgot how much exactly, but well, let's see here. Let's drink this. It isn't giving me a timer. Well, either way, you can see that there's a red X saying that you can't consume another one. When that X goes away, I think it's about 30 seconds, but when it goes away, you can consume another one. But that is the lesser healing potion, and I'll go ahead and make 2 sets of those. Then we have the healing potion, which requires 2 lesser healing potions and a glowing mushroom, and it will give you 100 life. Then, moving on to the greater healing potion, which restores 150 life, and I have some up here. I'll just go ahead and take one of those. It requires a bottle of water, 3 pixie dust, and a crystal shard in order to make that. There is a means to get some health replenishment from bottled honey. That's 80 life, but you don't actually craft that. And you have to get it from over in those little beehives when you fight the queen bee. Alternatively, during Christmas time, while you are opening presents, there's a chance to get eggnog, and that's also 80 health, but you can't craft that either. Alright, moving on to the mana potions. You are going to need, let's see here. Now, I know I'm standing at the right spot for it. I've got bottles, I've got gel, I've got plenty of fallen stars. Why is it not letting me... Hold on, let me check something. Well, that explains it. Apparently you can't craft the lesser mana potion anymore. You have to buy it from the merchant. Here. There we go. Lesser mana potion. And I need some money on me to do this. So... I'll just take a gold. That works. And I'll buy a few of these. So you can't craft the lesser mana potions anymore, unfortunately. Which makes no sense to me, but whatever. Okay. The next one is the just regular mana potion, and you can craft this. It requires 2 lesser mana potions and a glowing mushroom, and you'll get one of these guys here. I should probably have also purchased one additional one from this guy. There. And then moving on to the greater mana potion, which cannot be crafted and has to be bought from the wizard. There you go. There's the greater mana potion. And I'll buy, I guess, another one of these as well. Then there is the super mana potion. And I'll go over how much these replenish here in a moment. But the super mana potion, which should be on here. It's supposed... Oh! Gotcha! It requires 15 greater mana potions. Alright. Hold on, let me go get those. Alright, that's more like it. The super mana potion requires having 15 greater mana potions, a fallen star, 3 crystal shards, and a unicorn horn. In order to get this, and when you craft these, you'll get 15 super mana potions. I don't know why it has to be 15, but there you go. Now, the mana are similar to the health. 50 mana, 100 mana, 200, and 300. The most that you can have on you without any modifiers is 200 mana, so the 300 mana potions... the super mana potions are for players that have gear that allow them to have more mana. And there are several different ways of doing that. So it's not unheard of. Anyway, Moving on to the restoration potions. First one here is the lesser restoration potion, and to craft it you need one each of the lesser healing and mana potions, and it just takes the place of both. Oh, I guess I should have bought another one of those to keep that in stock. And then finally, the actual restoration potion is 100 each of life and mana, and that takes one regular healing and one regular mana potion to craft like that. And I'll go ahead and go buy another normal mana potion from him so I can put this in the chest. But those are the items for a recovery of health and mana that you can actually craft yourself. There are other means of doing this in the game, and there's regeneration, and there are potions up here even that help you regenerate the health and mana, but these are the direct recovery potions. Next up, I'm going to be covering the food buff related things. Alright, for the first food related buff potion, you're going to need a couple of items. The first one is a mug, and in order to make that, you're going to need to find yourself at a furnace of some sort and have one glass on you, and it will create a single mug. Then, for 14 wood and standing at a sawmill, you can produce a keg. And I bet I already had a keg in one of these chests, didn't I? Probably this one. Yep. Oh well. Now I've got another one. Whee! Alright. And I'm going to put it right here. Now the keg is only used in brewing the ale, as far as I know. And all you need to have is just have the keg placed and a glass mug, and you will have ale. It lasts for 2 minutes and causes what's called the tipsy debuff. Now it is a debuff, so you can't right click and get rid of it. It lowers your defense by 4, but it adds 2% to your critical hit, adds 10% each to melee attack speed and melee damage. So it is mostly beneficial, but it does drop your health or your defense a tiny little bit. But that is the first food buff potion. Okay, for the next one, you're going to need to have 2 clay blocks and make your way over to a furnace and craft a bowl. Once you have this bowl at any crafting station, I thought, no, I guess it has to be down here. And I'm wrong about that as well. Hold on. Of course I'm wrong. It completely slipped my mind. I forgot I have to make a cooking pot. I knew there was something that I had forgotten to put into the brewing area. I need 10 iron bars. There's 10. And I need 2 wood. And there we have a cooking pot. It is the same as the thing that I got at Halloween from the witch doctor there. Only that one is stylized and bubbly and looks pretty cool. So let's put the cooking pot here. And now I can, with a bowl, a mushroom, and a goldfish, make a bowl of soup. The bowl of soup adds what's called the well-fed attribute or buff, and this can be negated by right-clicking on the icon that appears up in the upper left up here. And the well-fed gives the following bonuses: 2 defense, to critical hit chance on all attacks except minion attacks. 5% melee speed, 5% melee damage, 10% magic damage, 5% minion damage, 50% minion knockback, and 20% movement speed. It does not affect any ranged damage, but except for the crit, but it does pretty much boost almost everything that there is. Now there are two other craftable food things, but I'm going to have to do a little setting up to get the next one, so I'll be right back. Alright, for this one to work, what you have to do is build yourself a nice little hut over in the snow biome. And of course it's raining, so it's blizzard right now. And it's nighttime, so double wonderful. I have a block in front of the door that should keep out the no-nos. But you're going to have to build a house, and you're going to have to open up your interface here and assign the merchant to be at this location. And it says his name is Barney this time, but that doesn't really matter what his name is. But you're going to need to get him to come live in a hut, temporarily anyway, over in the snow biome. And when you do that, from him you can buy these things called marshmallows, and they're a silver a piece. And I'm just going to go ahead and buy a couple stacks of them just to have them, since I'm here. Then, along with some wood, one marshmallow and one wood, you can make this thing called Marshmallow on a stick. Hold on. There we go. And before Barney dies, I'm going to go ahead and head back over here, because that would just be horrible. I forgot that thing goes through the wall. I wish there was a way to deal with that. Anyway, as I was saying, marshmallow on a stick. And let me go ahead and reassign Barney to his original apartment here. Then, next time he reloads, he'll be in here instead of way over there in the snow biome. Now, let's see here. What was I doing? I need to make a campfire, right? Yes. Now put the campfire right here. Now, at the campfire, with the marshmallow on a stick, which there it is, I made that, you can make... Now, I thought for sure something's not working. Hold on. I figured out what I was missing. You need to stand at a campfire, and you need to be holding the marshmallow in a stick on your hand, or in your hand as your active item. And after some amount of time, about 10 seconds or so, it will drop and you will get a cooked marshmallow. Now, apparently there is a way to sort of automate this so you can get a bunch of cooked marshmallows, but you basically have to fill up your whole inventory with stuff, leave enough room for being able to hold a marshmallow on a stick, and have one more slot available for the cooked marshmallows to occupy once they are created. And you just throw a whole bunch of marshmallows on the stick on the ground. Then, as you stand there and use up one of the marshmallows, it becomes a cooked marshmallow, and you pick up the next one while standing there. And it seems like a bit of a hassle, especially for something that has the same buff as the final recipe, which I'm going to show you. But the cooked marshmallow also does that well-fed thing that the bowl of soup does. Minor improvement to all stacks, also 10-minute duration, so nothing too terribly fancy there. But the final recipe for the craftable items requires you to have some pumpkins. And there we go, 10 pumpkins, I believe. If I'm wrong, I'll just, you know what, I'll take the whole thing. There we go. And I believe this also has to be done at a cooking pot. I am wrong here. So let's try the oven, because it is, after all, a pie. There we go, oven. So I suppose I should also move an oven down in there. But you can make this pumpkin pie. Now, it also adds the well-fed. It costs 10 pumpkins, so I was right on that. But this one is 15-minute duration. And pumpkins, once you get them, you can just start planting them all over the place. During Halloween time, they grow on their own. Here I've had a pumpkin patch just sitting since, well, much earlier in the series. So that is the pumpkin pie. Why don't I move you over here? And I know I've got a furnace here. There we go. Now I have all the things needed for making potions. But that is it for all of the craftable buff potions. There's the ale, the bowl of soup, the cooked marshmallow, and the pumpkin pie. It is a total of 36 craftable potions. Ooh, the traveling merchant has arrived. Let's go check him out. Oh, I suppose let's get rid of that and find out where he is. He's up in the banner wing. And that's convenient because there are some buff food potions that you can get from the traveling merchant, including stuff like pad thai and hey, there's pho. Sake is the same buff as ale. Gypsy robe, interesting. I think I already bought that. But there's pho anyway. And that is just the well-fed buff for all the food that he gives you. Nothing too terribly fancy there. But that is it for all the buffs and potions and whatnot that you can get from crafting things. So, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the episode. That should be the last of it that I have to do for demonstrating these, unless something else is added in the future. So thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please feel free to leave a message in the comment section below. I will do my best to get back to you as quick as I can, either in video or in the comment section. If you like this video and you like what I'm doing here, please feel free to give a like. I do appreciate that. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so you know when my future stuff comes out. But I definitely need to wrap things up here, so thank you once again for watching. This is thornofnight, and I will talk to you later.